Hey, hey, everybody. Hey. It is your girl, Precious Williams, and welcome back to the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster Show. I'm your proud host, Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitchmaster. Today's episode is about power moves to transform your brand. And it's 2 o'clock. It's Sunday. Y'all know how we always turn up on a Sunday to talk about all things that have to do with pitching, that has to do with marketing, putting yourself out there, communicating your value, your skill sets, your talents, and your abilities to you hope who are your prospects and turn them into what? Repeat clients. So again, welcome everyone to another exciting edition to the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitch Master Show. When I tell y'all I'm hype, I'm so hype. I woke up this morning so I don't even know how to explain it, y'all. I woke up so hype. I woke up because I was so happy that there's so many celebrations happening around me. I woke up happy because I realized so many dreams were accomplished this week. And that's why I want to talk about power moves to transform your brand. And so before we even begin, to my guests that are coming in for the first time and to my returning guests, if you could put in the comments your name, the name of your company, or what you hope to give birth to in the next year, and why you came to this particular show, let me know. And as y'all know, my lighting is off. My ring light died. And that's okay. So we just gonna put on the spotlight. Let's go. And for everyone else, before we even begin, I want to take time to celebrate some special people, special people, and I hope you go and check them out. Number one, to my friend, to my supporter, to someone who has taught me so much as a proud WeBo graduate. That's Workshop in Business Opportunities. Stephen Jackson is the former CEO of of WeBo, and now he's the CEO of Transruptic, which is transforming and disrupting the way entrepreneurs are taught. And so he's doing a 14-month program with new entrepreneurs to really show them how to build a successful business that also employs the community so that we can all build generational wealth. And so on Saturday, he gave birth to his dream. His daughters are a part of his company. And so I want to shout out Stephen Jackson, the CEO of Transruptic, transforming and disrupting the entrepreneurial space. He launched this past Saturday by giving the audience a taste of what makes his training for entrepreneurs different. So shout out to you, Stephen Jackson. Number two, we want to give a shout out to Jennifer Jones Bryant. I believe she's a part of a compilation series, and their book went number one internationally, nationally. And so I wanted to say to Dr. Jennifer Jones Bryant, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. As we all know, being a bestseller, it looks easy because it seems like everybody else is that. I'm here to tell you, it is not easy. It is not easy to consistently put out number one best-selling compilation books. It is not easy. It is not easy to get people to participate in compilation books, especially with unique flavors and tones. So I want to give a shout out to you, Dr. Jennifer Jones Bryant. And number three, I want you all to celebrate this with me. My second TED Talk went live on Friday. And so my second TED Talk was TEDx Babson. The topic was it ad malorem, toward better things. And my topic was on free your mind, seeing the gold behind the hype of the glitter. And so in my 12-minute presentation, I really tore the roof off of what toward better things are. Not looking at social media as the end all and be all and letting it dictate who you are as a person. Really celebrating the celebrity in you. And before you start looking at what everybody else is doing, focus on you. And when you focus on you and what you need and what your business needs, what your brand needs, you can become the people that people look up to. And so, yes, I know we've all been guilty of letting comparison be the thief of joy. But real relationships, real love, real loyalty, real fidelity is the true goal, not material things. And it was only after I went through the darkest time of my life that I realized the people who rock with me when I was homeless, the people who rock with me, and especially my friend Precious Frazier. Yeah, I got to give it up for Precious Frazier. She told me I was on a sabbatical. She said, because I don't want you to ever think that that is where you're going to stay. You're on a sabbatical, you're on a hiatus. And by her doing that over time, I now understand what she was saying. She was saying that when I felt like I was homeless, that was an indictment against my character, and that I was just taking some time to get myself together. And so I came back bigger, better, stronger, and faster. And so what does that have to do with power moves to transform your brand? And so I've been thinking about this, and it's been on my mind all week. And let me tell you why. And for those of you who are just now on, this is Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster Show. My name is Precious Williams, proud host, and I am a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. I am a serial entrepreneur, international professional speaker, corporate trainer. I'm a 4-time #1 best-selling author of the Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for Women Entrepreneurs and Speakers Only series. I am brought in by the biggest Fortune 500 companies, top Fortune 500 companies in the world to train on sales, sales scripting, sales pitching, communication skills, the like, right? And so that is why I have this show, because I'm tearing the roof off of BS that goes out in society about how do you make money. And if it's not happening for you, there must be something wrong with you. You know, business takes time. And I understand that people put out courses and all kinds of stuff, but if you have no audience, and I think that's what's starting to become clear. If you have no audience, you can create all the courses in the world. If people aren't paying attention to you, how do you get them to pay attention to you? And so those are some of the things that we tackle here on the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster Show. And so today's episode is on power moves that can transform your brand. And why is this important? Yeah, see me leaning over a lot because I got everything here on the floor. So this past week, I was the afternoon keynote for the Howard County Chamber of Commerce Her Story Changing the Game conference. And wait, hold on. As you can see, since the conference was all about changing the game, the morning keynote was Jennifer Grandal, who's the Senior Vice President, Community Development Communications at the Baltimore Orioles. She was excellent. I invited my friend Nicole Nixon, who owns her own data analytics. She always says I always get her company wrong. But anyway, she was there with me. And I also invited my 18-year-old mentee. My mentee was scared to come in because we were all older and she didn't want to make mistakes. And Nicole and I took her upstairs to my hotel room. Again, why are we getting into power moves? And so we wanted her to know that we snatch edges. I wish somebody would talk to you recklessly because we'll get with them. It's not even a problem. But we wanted her to know that we'll stand up for her. We'll stand right beside her, in front of her, behind her, to make sure she has a great time. She needn't worry. So I walked downstairs for breakfast in the morning, and I was just meeting people. I was doing a Facebook Live. I was, and people were really loving me. And the Howard County Chamber of Commerce staff were just like, we've never seen a speaker come down and talk to everybody, ingratiate yourself. I said, well, you have to understand that it's a one-day event, and I don't know people here, so I want to introduce people. So when I get on that stage, I'm looking out at friends. Power move. Number two, I wanted to get the lay of the land so that when my mentee came in, I knew where to send her. So she comes in, her dad drops her off. I'm looking at her dad. I'm like, I got her. So if anything happens, you can slice and dice me. So Nicole and I get her upstairs to my room, and we're telling her we want her to ask a question, put herself out there. She's nervous. So Nicole gives her a question to ask the Senior Vice President for the Baltimore Orioles. And y'all keep putting notes in the comments because I'm about to go into the power moves, but I definitely want to address each and every comment. So when Jennifer Grandal stood up to give the morning keynote, she was talking about these great tips on changing the game and how to step out as women and really own our space. She asked for questions. So and she brought up me in her speech, and she says, it's so refreshing to see someone who can bring a mentee in and introduce her mentee before she introduces herself. And I was like, yeah, because I want her to feel like she's special. So she asked, does anybody have questions? So my mentee, raises her hand, and she stands in her seat. And I'm looking at her like, oh, you would kill a pitchmaster. You got to stand up. She stood up and she asked her question, but she knew what to do ahead of time. She said her name, how old she was. And then she asked Jennifer Grandal, Senior Vice President for the Baltimore Orioles Communications. She said, could I shadow you? When I tell you the women and men in the audience went crazy. Jennifer said, and I thank God for this. I got to see this, and I wish I could have recorded it, but I took pictures. She said, not only can you shadow me, I'll bring you to the games in the box seats. My mentee was floored. I'm sitting up here like, yo, can you say something about your mental? But my mentee got to see when she put herself out there, got past her fear, went out there. She's over here scared. She only has one dress. She wore the dress to a funeral. I'm like, don't nobody care about that. You are here presentable, looking as beautiful as you want to. And now you stood up in a sea of women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you showed how it was done. She sat down. Jennifer Grindle finished her speech. And there was a 30-minute break between her speech, networking into the breakout sessions. So I turned my mentee, because I want my mentee to take a picture with her, because I'm sending it to the place where my mentee is an intern, like the organization that I got her from. Shout out to Brian Olds, who started Black Speakers Network. So then I'm emailing and I'm sending the pictures to Kylie, and I'm sending it to LaShonda, and I'm like, this is what our mentee did, our intern did. Oh, like, I'm so happy. Anyway, so what was about that was a power move. My mentee is 18 years old. She sees all of us as older, and she thinks she doesn't measure up. And we're looking at her like, girl, you got that youth on your side. Come through. And so afterwards, so many women came up to her to hug her and say they were so proud of her for being the first to stand up. It was about power moves. Y'all got to be the first to stand up, be the first to get out there. I'm not saying that being second and third is a bad thing, but what I am saying is stand up and be counted, because that's a power move. So because of that, it was so amazing. So then they had other great breakout speakers, and then you see me. Here I am. I love this picture. Shout out to Aaron Silber Photography. And here's my, it says keynote. Y'all see keynote, right? What was about this was a power move. When I got on that stage, I did a video, a Facebook Live video before I got on stage, because I needed to calm myself down. I was so nervous for some reason. And I did this video, and then one person introduced me, and then another person introduced me. So when I got on that stage and I'm looking at the audience, my mentee has never heard me speak. My friend Nicole, I think this is her second time hearing me speak, but I was speaking for 45 minutes. And so I'm going ham and cheese, and the crowd was with me. And so we'll talk more about that, but I just want y'all to hear what happened this week that was so powerful, and why I support when entrepreneurs start something, they launch something, they get themselves out there, because it is a power move to step out of average, random, and ordinary, and to go into the extraordinary and put yourself out there. They're going to talk about you. Some people are going to say there's no way you can make it. My thing is, I'd rather you try and not make it than try again with experience than to never have tried again. I want us to both all be in rocking chairs when we in our 80s, 90s, just rocking up, be like, yo, you remember that? Yeah, I remember that. I want that instead of I regret I never tried. So I'm about to go into the comments, and then we're going to go into power moves to transform your brand. In the comments, please put your name of your company, or what you want to give birth to, and why you are attending this particular episode. In addition, if you've already done that, please tell me, what did you learn from this intro about people starting businesses, my mentee, speaking, or whatever? Tell me, and I'm ready to come to y'all right now. Ready to come to you right now. And for those of you who don't know, I am the Killer Pitch Master. I'd love for you to take a free quiz that I created. I'm a 13-time national pitch champion. So if you struggle with your pitching skills, please take my free quiz at pitchingforprofit.com. It's 6 short questions. And in those 6 short questions, after you finish, it will send you a customized report with the algorithms just doing their thing, and it'll show you how to improve your pitches. Yes, that is my gift to you. Let's get it popping with the audience. Let me see what my peeps are saying. Farrah, I see you a lot. Okay, Farrah. Farrah! Good morning. Good afternoon, Queen. What's up, Precious? I love it, Queen. Glad you're here. Angela Lewis. Good afternoon, Precious. Good afternoon, my Queen. Angela. Farrah. Founder of Farrah Laurent International Nurse Coach. You better drop that T. Maria Bethel, Promise Beginnings founder. You better drop that. And then we have Nora Hepburn. Hi, Precious. I'm so glad you're here, Nora. I'm Nora Hepburn, co-owner HippoCon. You better get it. So glad you're here. Eric Kirk, truth. Thank you, Eric. I hope I am spitting truth, or you got to drop that truth tea on me. And then we have Farah, here to support and learn how to slay all day. I'm a nurse, career coach, and teach nurses how to land their dream position. You better say that again, Farah. Farah know what time it is. Every time she comes, she know what to do. Marsherie Williams. Hi, Precious. I'm Marsherie Williams. Avon represent. You better drop that T, Queen. Yes. Thank you, Marsherie. We got M Trey. Yay, Precious. Can you share the link? The link for Pitching for Profit. Just tell me what the link is for, M Trey. Okay, because it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, pitchingforprofit.com. Okay, and then we have Farah. Congratulations on your TED Talk. Y'all need to check out my TED Talk for real. So go online and put in Precious Williams, TEDx Babson. You're going to see my second talk. It's powerful. I cried. I'm watching myself for the second time. M Trey, I love you, girl. Yeah, cheers to the real one. You better believe it. Farah. Hi, everyone on this beautiful Sunday. Hashtag blessings all day. Tanya, what's up, Tanya? What's good, Queen? Farah. Yes, love. We are. Some more came in that you are paving the way for your mentee. Yes, my mentee, cute as she wanted to be, and she did that. Did you hear me? Shout out to my friend Nicole Nixon, who has shown up for me. Shout out to my friend Jandy Turner, my C200 sister, who after the event was over, she came and picked me up. Her decked out hot pink Jeep. We was riding, eating that good tuna tartar. She was eating shredded kale, no feta. We was going in at grill fires. Don't play with me. I got great friends. Farah, claiming those opportunities. Love it. Yes. Layla. Hello, I'm Layla Anderson, the founder of Golden Link, a nonprofit dedicated to uplifting and inspiring women of color to achieve personal and professional success. You better get it, Layla. Drop that to Golden Link. That's what I'm talking about. All gold, everything. Yeah, I heard. Thank you, Layla. Farah, I've learned to continue to be bold, stand up, and get seen. Please believe. Please believe. Dr. Will. Dr. Will Moreland. Y'all, if y'all don't know who I know everybody knows who Dr. Will Moreland is. Dr. Will Moreland is like the greatest speaker. Let me tell you something. He can throw out words like backyard bookings. He's incredible. And I think he was one of the top 100 like Phoenix Titans. Please tell me if I got that right. Or is it Arizona Titans? Please let me know, Dr. Will. You know, I got to shout you out because one of the best to have ever done it. This man knows how to speak. He knows how to train. He knows how to transform. When you get someone like him watching, it's a big deal. Thank you, Dr. Will. You're always on point. And then Maria, planning a launch event. Now you better go, Maria. Okay, so y'all, let's get into it. Power moves to transform your brand. And remember, this episode is all about doing things differently, right? So we're almost coming on to the 6th month of the year. We've been working hard, we've been doing things, but you may have been getting this inkling that you might want to try something new. There might be something else you need to do. And I know this year, when I entered this year, this is my 3rd real year back in business from walking out of the darkest time of my life. And so this year I decided I'm going to do some things differently, right? And so me being a killer pitch master, I started to apply for bigger and bigger grants because it wasn't the money that I was seeking, it was the relationships attached to those particular grants. So as you all know, I won a C200 grant. I won the Tory Burch Fearless Fund Crew Goldman Sachs grant this year. And what that has done has allowed me to have mentors from Disney, from Amazon, global Disney, global Amazon, global IAGG, and opportunities that I never would have had access to because these women did not know who I was. But being one of only 24 selected out of thousands for C200 means I was in good company. For the Tory Burch Fearless Fund, the Crew, Goldman Sachs, thousands of applications, and they chose 150 of us. Some got $10,000 grants, some got $20,000 grants. But on top of that, we got real training and real training and teaching from some of the best who have ever done it in entrepreneurship, right? And so these aren't these silly little things like, oh, they're just not going to teach you anything. No. I have learned so much. And now I have a full year membership in the Crew where I like want to tell you tomorrow's our first meeting. We already had to set intentions. We got to come in ready for an hour and a half. And I like that because it's not one of those things like, oh, you just show up. No, no, no. You got to show up. And so I love that sort of thing. So there was one thing I did differently this year. Number two, I sought bigger speaking engagements. So it was not enough just to get nicely paid. It was where the type of speaking engagements that put me on the map for people who need to know me, the VIPs. I don't need popularity. I need the right people to know that I am different in the lane that I've chosen, which is pitching, which is elevator, media, investor, speaker, sales, and interview. And being able to demonstrate that I've been successful in all of them, and so have my clients to this day. Do you hear me though? And so the speaking engagements I'm getting now, EO, and all of a sudden my mind went blank. I'm speaking at Syracuse University, Babson. I just did their their spring soiree. I was their graduation speaker. I'm thinking about all these things that are falling into place. Columbia University, human capital management. So just thinking about these things I never would have thought of before. Now I'm speaking at law firms. Now law firms are reaching out to me for certain things. Like, mind you, I'm a former attorney. I cut that whole life off. But if it wasn't for the Association of Black Women Attorneys reaching out to me to ask me to lead a training, look what's starting to happen. So because I decided to be open and to not cut off law anymore, like I am not a lawyer, but look at what's coming because I decided to go in different directions. I am not trying to do what everybody else does. That is why I'm not a coach. I don't pretend to be a coach. I am a trainer. Um, what else did I do? I put myself out there only as a keynote. So not that I was doing workshops or anything like that, but I'm the keynote. So whether you have multiple keynotes, I'm one of those. And by doing that and shutting off other things, it changed things, right? So when people, who may have thought to only come to me and say, hey, we just need you for this, we're not, no. I'm only the keynote. That's all. I'm not being considered for anything else. Do you know how scary it was to make that decision? But it needed to be done. And so cutting off other things. So why is that important to making power moves? There were certain things that I had to cut off. By cutting those off, it actually opened me up for a television show that I am now the pitch trainer and host for on the that we just shot on the West Coast. Why is that important for power moves? Because when you finally make a decision and put a time limit on, not just SMART goals. I mean, really, I'm going to do this. I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm going to do this and stick to it. It's not only that the universe conspires, it's everything works to get there. So if it takes a year, 2 or 3, there were times, y'all know, back in the day, I couldn't pay rent. I couldn't eat nothing but oodles and noodles. I'm telling you from experience. I don't want you to think everything happened all at once. It did not. But making that decision to, when doors are closed, I got to leave them closed. If you didn't want to rock with me before, if you were shaming me and saying all these horrible things about me before, I don't need to come back. And I won't. I will be over here where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And that's a decision. That's a real decision. Not having to kiss butt, not having to tell people, oh, no. This is it. And so this is going to go into power moves that will transform your brand. The first power move is, before you make any moves, make a decision. Do you want to move or do you want to stay? Do you want to go after this? Do you not want to go after this? What is it you want? Do you want to be on stage with this person? Do you want to sell your products at this particular event? Do you want to be seen here? Make the decision, put a date on it. Something happens when you make that decision and commit to it. Yes, things are going to come up. You always going to meet with distractions. Make the commitment. Why is making a decision? I find, and Dr. Will, let me know if you feel this. When you make a decision, it's cutting off things in the world that keep wanting to come to you. And if it doesn't, those things are going to come to you and you're just like, no, I'm focused on this. So when people were saying, be this type of speaker, no, this is my zone of genius. I can't speak on DEI. I can't speak on all these other sort of things. This is my zone. And if it takes a while for me to get booked, it takes a while, but I'm committed to this path. You know what I mean? And so make the decision. So my thing for all of you, y'all saw my post yesterday. I make no apologies for how I'm about to move. That's because a lot more is coming that you've never seen me do before. And that's because everything doesn't need to be said. I do make moves every day, but there's some moves that are shocking even me. But I had to make a decision. Am I going to do this? And am I going to move in silence with this until I'm ready to unleash? The decision was made. Some things I can put out there, some things I can't until the timing is right. And remember, timing is everything. So today, as you're listening to me, what decision have you been putting on the back burner, trying to weigh out all the options? I think you should choose whatever it is that you've been thinking about, even if it's a small decision. Right now, I want you to close your eyes and think about it. And by the time this episode is over, make the decision. Are you moving forward or are you not? You don't have to put it in the comments unless you want to. But I want you to make a decision on that and put a date next to it. Rule number 1, make a decision. Whether it's a small decision or a big decision, commit to it. Number 2, check in internally and speak and pray to your higher power. I've often found in this part of my journey, in the second part of my journey, where the fat lady got choked out in the back by God, that I have to hear him say certain things to me. And I made a couple of decisions this week that were scary, but needed to be done because he kept telling me, you're not going. You can't do this. Focus over here. But I had to hear his voice. And so I had to get really, really quiet. So when I go to when I'm speaking all over the world, I always try to get there a day early or spend a couple of days just so I can hear him speak as I'm walking by myself. I've gotten really comfortable with being alone at times just so I can hear him beyond the noise, beyond the clutter, beyond social media. I need to hear him. Or whoever your higher power is, and check in on how you're feeling. Are you scared? Bring it to him. Bring it to your higher power. Bring it to him. And know that your higher power needs no cosigners. If you expect everybody to believe in you and to say, yeah, you can do it, no. The master creator created you. Listen to what the master says. So when you're thinking about this decision that you've been put on the background, like I know for me, sometimes I'll have a lot of things I need to do. But when I finally sit down and be like, okay, these 5, I'm knocking out right now. Do y'all know how fast I knock things out? When I finally sit down and get to it. Get to it. Number 3. Nothing is impossible or out of reach. Nothing is impossible or out of reach. You want to be the next Oprah. You want to be the next Tyler Perry. You want to be the next Dr. Will Moreland. You want to be the next or the only, whoever you are. Nothing's impossible. You want to be a digital nomad and work around the world. You want to travel to exotic locales for work and pleasure. You want to be able to switch wigs 5 times a day and just look fabulous and have your clothes designed by Tom Ford, even if you're a full-figure diva. Yes, it can happen. Nothing is impossible or out of reach. In fact, everything is abundance. In a sea of where people are talking about everything being high as far as prices, I'm not here to say that's not true. What I am here to say is your purpose is not tied to someone's budget. Stepping out on faith is hard. People only see when it succeeds. They don't see all the failures, the supposed failures that came before that, which gave you the experience to keep believing in yourself beyond all doubt. And if you look at any of the people that made it, I wrote my first book when I was 40. And next thing I know, I had a billboard in Times Square. The next thing I know, Forbes magazine reviewed my book. Like Forbes magazine reviewed my book, and then I had a billboard. I had no idea that I can get my book sold to the biggest companies in the world. I had no idea that when I go to events and we already contract to have a table, it always surprises me that women and men will stand in line, long lines for hours to get a picture with me, to buy something, and to let me know how they make them feel. Because I remember when nobody did. I remember when that phone calls didn't get answered. I remember when I forgot to ask for things. I remember when I felt too small. I remember all of those things. And yet, when I was at the Her Story Changing the Game, my friend Nicole was taking pictures. I had to sometimes look at the look at my phone to make sure that the Cash App or the Venmo came through. Um, Lisa, Lisa, who got me booked with the Howard County Chamber of Commerce, she was handling the money payments, right? So people paid in cash, they paid it to her. Then I had to sign the book. So we had a system. And I can't tell you for the life of me, when I look up and see these lines and I see the books being looked at and I see people taking these pictures, and I'm just like, I didn't know it was possible, because nothing is impossible or out of reach. I don't have to have a New York Times bestselling book to have a New York Times bestselling book. Think about all the people who sold out of the trunks of their cars that the New York Times could never capture. Think about being creative, because that'll put you past thinking that everything is financial when it's not. Sometimes it's just creativity. Sometimes it's putting yourself out there in front of people, making a fool of yourself because you were willing to do it. So I want you to think about those three. Again, number one, make a decision, put a date on it, commit. Number two, check in internally and speak and pray to your higher power. And number three, nothing is impossible or out of reach. Get real creative. And so now I'm going to come back and see what comments are being made. Out of those three, which one of those resonates the most with you? What is speaking to your spirit right now? What is it doing with this decision you have to wrestle with, whether it's a small decision or a big decision? Coming into the comments right now. In the interim, in the interim, for those who want to speak their way, gain more paid speaking engagements at the places that will really put them on the map, please check out my Speaker One, Pitch One workbook and Canva templates. It's available at the site that's scrolling across the screen, which is bookedandbusyspeakers.com/one sheet. I tell you, it's really comprehensive because it's created by me. I've been a speaker for 27 years. Oh my goodness, since I was 16. So I don't regurgitate what everybody else does. I hope that when I do my Booked and Busy Speakers Boot Camp, it's really important to me to teach things that are present and that are timely and that aren't rooted in old ways. Like I can marry the old and the new and really show you how to stand out and really get where you had to go. I never thought I could speak in academia. I never thought that I would speak for companies, corporations, foundations, and nonprofits. But when I dared to, and when I was able to change the title to fit whatever it is, but still staying in my zone of genius, that put me on the map. And then other things that I learned to create a solid foundation as a speaker. So I'm coming through to y'all right now. Hold on. Okay. Dr. Will, love you, sis. Appreciate you. No, Dr. Will, we all appreciate you. See, Dr. Will, I already see you about to come through. See, I already know what the next. I see. I told you. Farah, what advice do you have for me to pitch to universities for nursing students? Who should I reach out to at the university, the dean of nursing or someone else? So Farah, why don't we table that to the end? But I will say this: what has worked for me has not been necessarily the cold thing. And I'm not saying I know everybody at every school, because I don't. One of the things that I have loved to do is see who's connected to who in my network, right? And so I may, like, even with Syracuse University, that literally came because a client of mine put me out there for it. She's a graduate of Syracuse, was on the board and was like, bring her in because this is her zone. But for the other opportunities that I've been offered, let's say Babson, Columbia, Harvard, they were it's interesting. They actually found me on LinkedIn because I was talking about pitching and things like that. For other organizations and things that have reached out to me, I would literally check out, not just in nursing, there might be someone who's connected to your school in a different way who might find a different way to get into nursing, right? I'm not necessarily the one for cold calling, although I used to be a recruiter's assistant and had to make like 200 phone calls a day to try to get practice from law firms, get whole practice, what do you call that? I'm gonna call it practice fields, to leave one firm and go to another. So I'm well versed on cold calling. It's just not for me. It's been much easier. Like I wrote in my book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency, that when you teach other people how to pitch you, it's easier for them because they're already in there. So if you're going to contact like the dean of nursing and stuff like that, just understand they're busy. So who else can you contact underneath them? Who else may know someone who's at the school in administration who can put in a good word for you instead of you just doing all of this because they're busy. And if you're not in their field, if you're not, I don't know, in their mind like that, you're going to get passed over. Right. So start looking in your network, start doing those LinkedIn searches. And that's what I love to do, to see who's connected to who, whether it's in that department or not, because oftentimes they'll know how to get to the right person who ultimately makes a decision to push you higher. Does that help, Queen? Thank you. See, Dr. Will, commitment creates currency. You better come through, Dr. Will. You always come through. Commitment creates currency. Say it again. Helena Hollingsworth, thank you. Powerful outline for business and living. Thank you. And then Farah, gotcha. Thank you. Just be more visible on LinkedIn. And also, Queen, I don't want to limit you all to LinkedIn if that's not where your people are. My people happen to be on LinkedIn, some on Facebook. I do have a presence on Twitter and Instagram, but that's not where most of my people come from. I'm sorry. One of the things that I have noticed is after I speak or during my speaking, I'm all about social proof because I can talk a good game about myself. But when y'all see people who are filming me live and being like, yo, she going in, it makes people, who is this Precious Williams? I like that name. Oh my gosh, she never looks the same. But they're telling, oh, she's going ham and cheese. It's important. I literally just did a training on this Friday from with iFundWomen, and it was called Pitch Please: How to Create a Sales Pitch That Pays and Slays. 1 hour, right? I'm only giving 1 hour. We finished at 12:59 exactly. But let me tell you something. In that presentation I done, there was some elements, like you always throw in new elements, and it was so important for women to see why you always need to put yourself out there. And I don't mean buy my stuff all day long, because that's not what it's about. If they feel like they're going with you, they're seeing your journey, they're seeing the blood, sweat, and tears of being a speaker, the blood, sweat, and tears of being an entrepreneur. What happens when your flight gets delayed? What happens if you miss this flight? What happens, like, what does that do to an entrepreneur? My flight got delayed going into BWI twice. By the time I made it to BWI, afterwards it was smooth sailing. But everyone to make sure that everything was right for me. The hotel was right, my food was right, everything was taken care of for me. I remember times when none of that was, and I had to do everything myself. And now I have people around me because I've created a network that will always show up. And these are real people who love me, and I love them. So I will show up for them. They show up for me. And it's not one of those things of, oh, we got to show up here, and then I show up here. No. I'm going to be there. So think about that. So if y'all ready for numbers 4 and 5, let me know in the comments. Again, which one of those 3 really resonated with you all? Let me know. On May 31st, for some of you who weren't able to attend the iFundWomen Pitch Please, I'm also doing a training for Black Entrepreneurs NYC. As y'all know, I'm training the next generation of Black entrepreneurs. I'm one of those specially selected to train the next generation of Black entrepreneurs in New York City. Also, I'm a mentor with We NYC, which is the next generation of women entrepreneurs in New York City. And it's so nice to be chosen by those in administration who understand that we have real talent, real skill sets, and real abilities in different areas. So I want to thank the de Blasio administration, and also the Adams administration, for continuing to work with me and bring me to the fore of showing how to pitch, how to communicate well, how to get into certain spaces when you didn't grow up with connections, you didn't grow up with Ivy League degrees, you didn't grow up. You are creating your own legacy. I want to thank the De Blasio administration and the Adams administration for giving me the opportunity to mentor the next generation of Black and women entrepreneurs in New York City. Thank you. So that's the link for the masterclass I'll be doing on May 31st. It is free, so check it out. I'm not sure if you have to be in New York City resident, but I would still get in there because they still have resources. So go ahead and do that. So let's go into 4 and 5, which goes into the power moves to transform your brand. I once read somewhere the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one, right? I believe that one of the, what's his name? Rory. I think he was like the world speaker champions years ago. And he had a book called Take the Stairs. Just moving the needle every day or every week. Before I became the killer pitch master, I had to win one competition at a time, not knowing where that would take me, not knowing that what I was setting in motion was other women starting their businesses and using pitch prize money to expand or to grow. All I knew is that I had to win the next competition to eat, the next competition to make sure that we had inventory, the next competition. Da-da. So I took it one day at a time. What did I need to do to win that competition? What did I need to do if I had to appear on television? What was I going to say? If I was having a pitch on the spot, what was I going to do? So I was always in prep mode, so that when the opportunity presented itself, I just went into beast mode. So you might want to make $1 million this year, $100,000 this year, $2,000 this year, $2,000 tomorrow. Step by step, it happens. And as you watch the greats go before you, the Dr. Will Morelands, the Les Brown, the Lisa Nichols, the Dr. Cheryl Wood, the Sarah Bakeleys, the Oprahs, all these greats, know that they had hard times and they had hard moments, and they had to decide: am I going to turn back and be distracted, or am I going to move forward? I'd love to just tell you eyes on the prize, but that's difficult in a world that moves so fast. Your phone's constantly ringing, all this other kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, one step at a time. Just like when I left the Bowery Mission Women's Center, and I was scared for 6 months because I was paralyzed with not having someone tell me what to do. I went from nobody telling me what to do to, for 2 years, being told what to do, and then stepping out and having to learn how to do things all over again, how to show up, how to do all these sort of things without being told to. And it took one step at a time. It took faith, and it took this thing of, I said I'm going to be Precious Williams, the killer pitch master again. There was some dark times. But Pastor James Leonard sat me down one day and just said, you're not living up to your potential. He said, I seen you when you been on stage. You were on stage at our church, Trinity Baptist, 61st and 2nd. He said, you need to be that precious. He said, that's the precious everybody loves. He said, that's the precious that made it against the odds. And so one step at a time, I felt like the next day I was going ham and cheese on people. And before I knew it, I'm where I am today. And so won't he do it in less than 3 years? Yes, he will. Yes, he'll make you go from last to first. He'll make people like, how the hell did she do it? She didn't go through this network. No, I went through what he told me to do. Those doors are closed. What window is open? What crack in the door that I got to go through? When women would see me and be like, you know, Precious, you may not have to have the funds to come in. You may not have the funds, but I'm going to get you in. Why is that? Because I kept moving forward. You can't make sense of crazy. So just move forward. And finally, number 5, when I look back over my journey and the journey of my clients, you know, we all had these dreams. Like I think about my client Grace, who now sits on the boards of of quite a few for-profit companies. She owns her own mergers and acquisitions company. I'm so proud when I see her speaking at all of these events. I just saw that she got engaged. I look at Another one of my clients, and she's in all of these competitions, getting into the finals of these very big competitions for ed tech. And I'm like, I remember when we just had that first meeting and there was that fear. And all of a sudden, coach, you taught me, trainer, you taught me. Now I'm in it, I'm thugging it out. And I'm like, all I can do is say, I don't need the recognition. I can see what happened. I see that you started to believe in yourself and you started to believe in the things that you were being taught, because there's greatness in all of us. And by God, I'm watching it happen right before me. I'm watching women and men read my books. Little 9-year-old boys reading my books like, yeah, it was dope. I'm like, thank you. But please implement it. So the fifth one is all about looking for the clues around you that's telling you you're on the right path. When I was in the Bowery Mission Women's Center, I was paired with a woman named Krista, who was an entrepreneur. And I specifically asked for an entrepreneur to teach me. And we created a television show together. And she believed in me, even when I had nothing. So when I called her a couple of weeks ago and I said I'm about to go shoot this show, she was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Shh, we knew this was coming." I was homeless when we decided on that. And when you look back, there were always these clues. There was always women who stepped in the way, men who stepped in the way, kings and queens who were just like, I believe in you. I think about my former dentist who played Fresh Fridays when I came in. We had to clean my teeth. And he gave me a laptop when I had no money. And he said, I believe in you. What dentist do you know will give you a laptop and say, I need you to go ahead and make that dream come true because I want to watch you do it, when other people were like, it'll never happen. So there were all these clues all along. Being in the pastor's house, when I go places, I make sure I got to thank God, because there were always things that were pushing me to see. There was a reason why I became an attorney. And even though I'm not an attorney anymore, here I am going into law firms and doing specific trainings that I wish I would have had when I was growing up. And so, what I want to say to all of you is there are clues coming all around you, showing you and leading you down this path. And so I want you to see the clues. Sometimes you don't see it in real time. It may take you a few days, a few weeks to see you've been guided and pushed in the right direction. And you're not pushed to be comfortable, you're pushed to be uncomfortable. Because when you step into your purpose, another woman can step in hers. And so when we think back to power moves, it's not just enough about getting out there. It's not just enough to get out there and say, oh, I'm big time, or I'm just doing silly stuff just to get attention. You want sales, you want credibility, you want testimonials, you want to have impact. You want people to go from being prospects to clients to repeat clients. Now they're referring you to their friends and associates. If you just are a if you just a one trick pony, you won't have that. And so I want you all to know that power moves require power decisions. So you got to, one, make that decision, put a date on it, and commit to it. Number two, you have to check in internally with yourself and your higher power. You only need his cosign, nobody else. He doesn't need anybody else to cosign with him. He created you, every hair knit in the womb, to be who you are. Understanding, taking a step, one step at a time. You may think you want the fame and all of that fast, but you don't. You kind of want to walk into it. And there will be growing pains, and there will be times you want to pull your hair out. And then look at the clues that are all around you that are telling you you're moving in the right direction. And clues don't mean people are telling you, because some people don't know what you're capable of. So I definitely want you all to know from the bottom of my heart that this particular episode came to me just because there was just so much happening. As I watched my friends give birth to their next beautiful now, as I watch my friends sign baseball baseball number contracts, to watching what's happening in my life, and to know that it required me to divorce myself from what everybody else was telling me about what was possible. So I pray that you all get a chance to look at my second TED Talk, TEDx Babson. You can go on Google or YouTube or put Precious, I think Precious Williams, TEDx Babson, or maybe put in TED Talk, but look for the TEDx Babson Talk, where I talk about free your mind, seeing the gold behind seeing the gold behind the hype of the glitter, and seeing what really matters in life. Also, when the greats know who you are for a good reason, it's beautiful. Dr. Will, I can't believe he's even on her, man. That man does not have that kind of time. So I truly appreciate you, Dr. Will, for showing up for me today. I want to give a shout out to all of you who have these dreams, hopes, and desires, and they keep going no matter what. And so, do I have any questions before I end this another exciting edition of the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show? It's weird. I don't see any, which is weird because that never happens. And it stopped it. Okay. So if there are, and it's just not populating, which sometimes LinkedIn it'll freeze. But if you're still watching, if you have any more questions to ask, anything else you want to put out there, please do. Please put your contact information out there, because you never know who's been reading your comments and wants to respond to you privately. Again, my website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. And you can go there and see the things that we have going on with Perfect Pitches by Precious. You can see that I have one-on-one trainings. I have one-on-one packages with clients, group training. I have my free quiz, pitchingforprofit.com, where you can see where you are with your pitching game. No matter what 6 forms there are, you're gonna need some help in one of them. So check out and see where you are and where you can be. You need to set up a consultation. You can also go on my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. If you're looking to speak better, if you're looking to be booked, busy, and paid, be a booked and busy speaker, check out the Book and Busy Speakers Boot Camp, which is happening again in June. Check out the events page where you can see my upcoming events that I'll be speaking at all over the world. And again, I just thank y'all for being here. Power moves. Man, I can't tell you how many years I stressed about making this decision and I wasted time. I can't tell you how many times I sat here like, I wish this person would like me. Why would I care? My purpose is not tied to one person. My purpose is tied to making sure that other people give birth to what's really inside of them, whether they look, sound, act the part, whether they are skinny, tall, full figured, differently able. I want us to go out there and get our blessings. I want us to dream big and ask bigger. And that's what we do every time we get together on the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. So I see some comments. Let me see what my peeps is saying. Hold on, let me go here. Okay. Farah, thank you for all the information. Farah, how do I sign up for the free workshop you mentioned? So Farah, I'm gonna put if any of you want to know about my links, just put links all in the comments, and later on today I will go in and put all the links under your name so you know it's for you, okay? And then Laura, what is your number one tip in pitching? My number one tip in pitching is make sure that you're really addressing the problem or challenge your target market has in their words, not yours. People need to know that you're speaking to them. And oftentimes we'll throw out solutions, but people are not buying because they don't think you really understand their problem. It's not just what keeps them up at night, but it's sometimes it's the little things. Some people are worried about, does their LinkedIn profile really portray them in the best light? Like, does it make it look like they're popping? Are they attracting people? Sometimes it's like, oh, I put out books years ago and nobody bought. Will that happen again? So I don't want to write a book. Is it about, I would love to do a TED Talk. And you've done 2. And you were chosen for I've been chosen for many, but the 2 that I chose were the most important for me. TEDx Butler and then TEDx Babson, which I know this sits on my desk because knowing that the students created this for me, that they created an entire experience, to know that they chose me to go in a particular order because they wanted me to set it off, being the last before intermission, knowing that there were people in the audience at both of my TED Talks that paid me to speak at their events. My first TED Talk, I Fund Women, booked me to speak at their Entrepreneur of the Year presentation. Thank you, Karen Khan. I'm so thankful to I Fund Women for all that you've done for me. All that you've done for me. And my TEDx Babson, I was booked to spring at the spring soiree for the See Well program, the program that I skipped to be. I did Be Well, Black Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Program, skipped See Well and went straight to C200, where they pay us to be in the program. What kind of program pays you to be a part of it for a year? But that's what I mean by power moves. So, normally TEDx I'm paying, but you never know who's in the audience. And I feel like, Dr. Will, this is true. You never know who's in the audience, who's watching you, to hear something they never heard before from your different perspective and why it may be needed elsewhere. This year, I have spoken at organizations that I could not put on social media, that I had to do quietly. And I'm so glad that there are industries that reached out to me that I never thought would. And even when we were filming on the West Coast, I did a training for this organization and turned that mother out while I was filming, or being selected for, or knowing I have speaking engagements into 2024. Mind you, I'm not Les Brown, I'm not Dr. Will, I'm not any of the other people, but we all are not competing in the same space. We're all speakers, but we're all different types of speakers. So yes, I'm gonna keep putting this out there because honestly, just knowing this was created for me is amazing. Okay, I'll put you back over here. Let me just see. Yeah, I got more comments. I'm sorry. Tanya! So for all you don't know, I was a part of Linda Clemens' events in Indianapolis, her 6 and 7 figure masterminds. And I met Tanya at both of them. So Tanya, thank you so much for showing up for me, for showing me love. Lara, excellent answer. Thank you. Farah, hashtag purpose driven, hashtag believe in yourself, hashtag dream big dreams. Yes. Helena, all the points apply to me now. Mainly number one, make a decision and date it. You better believe it, Helena. And so for all of you, I know we've been going hard for about oh my God, we're going hard for an hour. Yeah, I know the time just flies. So if there are any links that you need, please put them in the comments. You need a link to the BENYC free masterclass. You need a link to my $27 Speaker One, Pitch One workbook plus templates. If you need a link to my free quiz, pitchingforprofit.com, let me know. There's something big that's coming out this week. I'm just letting y'all know because I'm telling you it's coming. So get ready for that this week. And I love you all for showing up for me every time I come here to, do it, the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. There's many more things popping off. So get ready. It's going to be people say cruel summer. It's going to be a cool summer. What? So bright. I got to wear shades. So if there are other people that you think should be listening to this particular episode, put their names in the chat. Tell them why they should come. And again, if you love this episode, put it in the chat. Get other people to show up with you. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. It's been a wonderful Sunday. Blessings upon blessings. I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be a blessing to others. I love you all. This is the Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitchmaster show. We usually show up live on Sundays where we talk all things about pitching, marketing, branding, but also how to get yourselves out there in an authentic and transparent way that really baits, attracts, and closes with ease. So again, I'll show you how to pitch for profit, how to slay all competition. And I am the Killer Pitchmaster, Precious Williams. Love you all. Mwah. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Y'all know I can't leave if I still got comments. Hold on. Okay, Farah said, yes, give us the links. Okay, Farah. Thank you, Helena. Yes, links, please. Farah, enjoy your weekend. All right, love you all. Mwah. Bye.